That's the thing, guys. That's the issue with your tlof. Ne? Problem is that it gives you a sense of security that doesn't exist. It gives you an umbrella that's not there. It gives you an iron dome that actually is not a weapons, a missile defense system. It makes you feel like you're in a marriage when you're not. Because you're not supposed to have sex outside of wedlock. And indeed, in the Old Testament, men and women didn't even have to undergo a wedding ceremony for them to be truly married. They just lay with one another and it was confirmed that that's your wife. He knew the wife, and then basically coming up with ceremonies to formalize a contract between man and wife came later, because men started doing this weird thing after Adam and Eve, where it is that they would like sleep with chicks without really making them wives, where there were these women that popped up out of the woodworks all over the show that were actually selling sex. So the career, if you will, of prostitution came up. So because of prostitution and because of casual sex, there then necessitated actual ceremonies to, band people together, witness, say this is your wife, because men became promiscuous and women also became promiscuous. And because of promiscuity, it had to be clear who here among the women you're sleeping with is your wife. Otherwise, before then, as soon as you slept with a woman, she was your wife. Just by mere virtue of sleeping with her, she was your wife. So it makes all the sense under heaven why women would have a delusion, some weird little optical illusion, actually causing in their minds a little bit of a mental illness, a bit of a neurosis, a psychosis, if you will, where they actually believe ukuthi bachadile when they're not. There's no ring, there's no commitment. We are cheated all over the show. But I mean, married men, even in the olden days, used to cheat, but at the end of the day, so women content themselves with the status of being amarechte, because it's like being a wife while everybody else is a side chick. So when Irechte falls pregnant, she's thinking, duh, right? You give yourself an optical illusion, women. You give yourself an optical illusion of marriage by being in these long-term relationships, some of which you end up cohabiting with a dude, until you give him a child outside of wedlock, and then they go awry. Not all the time, but I've seen it happen time and time again. Chicks out here giving dudes babies for 4 years, and then in the first trimester of the pregnancy, dude, about there for the child, about there even for the birth, the delivery. The people didn't stay together. So njengoma we are living in a culture as black people where imizimba yethu ngabantwana ingathi we are slaves brandished. Ingathi re di slafa tse ba di brandileng, rona mo strateng. They've branded us kadimpa. Why mo strateng do you think, after all this pain I've endured, as if though I can take more pain in my stride? Why do you think I'm gonna let myself kill by yet another slave? An iron belonging to one guy. Kaofela tshwantse re share the same baby daddy. Angibathanda bo baby daddy benu, banama disease, and on top of that, abanhloniphanga nina. So angazi why. Anybody's of the imagination that I'm gonna be as smart as I am, however, nonetheless for the season naive enough to think ukuthi mina bazongihlonipha. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You gonna know what it means to me. A little bit, just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more. You're gonna know. Angifuni nje ukuyothandwa in a marriage, ngifuna ukuhloniphwa as umfazi othandayo, indoda ongamakwa like a slave with pregnancy, but is rather honored with children and cared for, taken basically into an abode and made an honest woman. Haona monna o tlo fitlang mona o ratang go tempa basadi nkare ke vaccine jar tsele tsa gale tse tlo go fang di mark that looks like dots tse round mo azokutempa uthi wonke umuntu azi ukuthi you've been vaccinated. You know how because of that vaccination? The rest of us also got the same vaccination, however it had been advanced now, and so there was no need for you to evidence or I don't have the mark, because by the time I came on board, that vaccination style was no longer a thing, and I'm grateful for it because I'm not marked on my body. Even though if I did have it, I wouldn't have problems with it because it wasn't in a place on the body that marred your glory or whatever. But bantempa like that, like proper, it has to be known what vaccine you took. It has to be known what is the origin. So everywhere you go, women, yonke indawo that you frequent la emgaqweni, it's always going to be known that, listen, I could omit if I go on a date with somebody. Or I could just in the past, nobody needs to know. I could lie and say I've been with only 2 guys. I wouldn't, because it's right to share all of your history with the person that you are likely to get married to. But I'm just basically letting you know that people that want just a prolific fame in your life, people that just want like a very prolific sort of kind of peacock fame in your life forever, even though kidi nobody, kidi tubok, kidi shilling. Some of y'all's baby daddies are so snacks. Now that abantwana benu bana 17, umgcine 17 years ago, ke sebotho. Papa, you are ashamed to be associated na lenja lena. Abantu abasamboni anymore. He is just a fog. Kodwa utempile, girl. So everybody needs to know now. Ukuthi uke wajola wena nomandla mthembu. My dad, by the time he died, seboto. That was just a drunk, like unafufurilwe ke bophelo, having messed up, but he had great glory in his early days. Kodwa wonke umuntu would always know that my mom was married to him. Utempile. Manje, when your ex-boyfriend is like a vaccine or a vaccine ebonagalang, or the mark of a slave branded on you with an iron. Bantawe on noma lenja lena seyiswabisa manje. You are ashamed to be associated naye. Awufuna abantu ukuthi bazi ukuthi ujolena. Yo girl, how low had you had to have been? Uyojolana lenja lena. So if somebody is embarrassing enough, if somebody is just isiboto enough, if somebody turns out to be in nonsense enough in life, I know you could just uzizibisa indaba ukuthi ukwajola naye. Uke wamnqabuza once upon a time. Usekile washapa drive-by shooting over there. Sese banayo diboto later on in life. You can thoroughly disown you ever having known them. Nobody left first stop at the mall proper and act like you don't know them. Abuli say hello, jump up and down like oil on a frying pan and be out there talking to you umzibenje, cause you that snow. Umzibenje, cause now you're all classist. You all out there, you're flying like a bird. Yena since na khokhoba, since na pusha trolley, ukamu ignore. On some confused. When you're walking around with your husband and he's busy out just scanning groceries at the Pick and Pay, even though when everybody was growing up, nearly yellow bone, so you flying high. Nobody knows how you're able to walk through a mall. That girl. And you're walking around with your very classist husband, Lily Tuli Travadi Mercedes. Crash up, you went there, too. Just to show everybody that you got them. So you gotta drive them in 1 week. So in order to cover that mandate, you be going to the mall separately in 2 different cars. So people can know you that chick now. Hey? Indlu yakho is a smart house. Before you even arrive at Jardin, since the EPX, it's already swept itself. The garage is already warmed itself. For a room temperature ya mohara koloi, it's ya kamon. Temperature ya mohara koloi, it's ya kontlung. Be comfortable. No more makaza ngaphandle. Garage is warm, waiting to receive you because it can tell that you are 25 minutes away. You're 15 minutes away. You're getting out based on your cell phone's location tracking. So it's molong and you've got proper. You're on your way home. So it's that AI that one day is gonna kill you, but nonetheless you got it going down. That's who you are. Imagine when you're that chick with an AI house, an AI car, AI shoes. Girl, you just artificial intelligence in and of yourself and just like robot because I already feelings. Ex-boyfriend, Kenyang, Asana Lino, Kipuza facey, Salemon even no Nalemuswe. I wanna die. You're just gonna be like, you can do that. You can just ignore, eh? Act like you don't know. Scratch the house show. Your husband, who's also an artificial intelligence husband, na robot. Because I know my feelings. I didn't have my feelings. Na robot. I come in peace. Rigid. He doesn't look left or right at anything. He feels everybody's gonna stain his garments if at all they touch him. Or arrogant. That's your husband. He's like Mzwake Trankedi. Dude out to having no followers. He follows no one on TikTok, and yet he's got millions of followers. When your man is that arrogant, he doesn't follow anyone, not even his own wife. But he's got listen. There was a dude who calls himself a Christian, a whole prophet. We beat that prophet. I get this guy. Mzwake Trankedi or Trankedi. I stand corrected as to how you pronounce his surname. That guy. One time I went into his channel his TikTok account before I concluded that he was a charlatan. Especially on prophecy as to how you know, how you're a seer, when you see these things in dreams, because I'm a dreamer. So he speaks a lot about dreams, and so his stuff came on my feed, and I listened to him, and I liked one of his videos enough to follow him. And one time I went into his page because his stuff I found very compelling, until I found out that he was one of those bushiri types, one of those he's got magic from Nana Kwaku types. That's why he them. But there was a season when I was kind of taken away by the tsunami, and I was really turned off when I went into his page. When I actually went in, as opposed to merely see his stuff in my For You page and then click on it and go into that space, and I found out that this bugger, even though he's got a wife that is on TikTok, doesn't follow anyone. Not even his wife, not even a family member, not even Ngani from back in the day, not even Impinchi Zake. Within these circles of occult practitioners that do magic. Not even one celebrity, not even one news platform, nothing. Got millions of followers. He is followed by millions of people, but he follows no one. He is followed by millions of people, but he follows no one. On that day, I decided to unfollow him just as a statement. You're arrogant. Who do you think you are? It's a statement for him to follow no one while being followed by everyone. It's a prideful thing. Well, as time would progress, and I not only unfollowed him because he had no one that he was following, but I would come to later learn that he was clumped in these charlatans that come to Africa, that are all over Africa, out here doing fake miracles and signs and wonders. And I was like, it is no wonder. They're very prideful. They're very arrogant. They're not the real deal. They're not people of God. They are charlatans. They're robbing South Africa. And so before when you and your man are like Mzwakhe, you don't follow nobody, but everybody follow you. Like I said, you artificial intelligence, you feel nothing, girl. You just go around like a robot, out here spitting out answers like ChatGPT. But really and truly, your singularity, you've reached it. You've gotten to an nth degree of pride, of pomp, of arrogance. And so you don't sniff around anything at all that is not of your class. You don't follow anyone, but everyone follows you. You're like Mzwakhe Trinkere. Manje injanyana that you used to date back in the day, that you used to have sex with, that you used to hang with, party with, smoke, zol with. Now that's so kulile. And you've got AI shirts. Honey, your AI shirt is going to help you make it like a polo neck and turn your head the other way when the dude that you used to hit it with, that you used to hook up with, is just like Isiboto now. Because after all, you that chick that don't follow nobody, but everybody follows you. You can afford to do that with an excess swabile. Do you understand what I'm saying? They don't look nothing like what it is that you are, the woman that you are today. As they don't leveled up. You can afford to go Zebanje, ex-boyfriend, Yasibot, that used to be famous back in the day, Mara now. Those are the benefits of not giving deadbeat exes babies, and never mind that. Those are the benefits of not fornicating. You go buy umuntu that you think is gonna be your husband. Excited. Do you basically start to talk big things about the future? Like this stuff does not quite give. It doesn't give, right? And so you break up. Only for this guy to just keep like basically break his teeth and everything, lose them on the pavement, and one day in the future say Lisebot. You can just pretend with your Mzwakhe husband that ain't got no followers, but everybody be following him. You don't know who that is. I mean, you're arrogant enough to do stuff like that. I'm sorry, no baby. I'm sorry, no baby. Ex-boyfriends. Mara now today, gold tooth after breaking his other one. Lino. Go bating cause Ananta busy answer driver still got 35 and he got punched at a pub. Or you replace a dyed broken tooth. Got gold tooth cause khalas na tasting jai. You could have just gotten a veneer, something yana, a fake. Etlo lukangare all the other teeth momenong mara alona ta gold. Khala lejwa. Mara nase ke level up. I've leveled up to a point where I've got artificial intelligence rings on my fingers. That's who I is now. I'm all advanced. I'm a robot working around. That's alone a regular human being. I'm a transhuman. It's all substandard. You can pretend like you don't know that thing, even though you go home and you're like, yo, so best friend that leveled up with you, and now she has got an artificial intelligence wig. So you and your fake friend that used to date those guys back in the day, the other day I was at the mall. No Vose. Vose is now the husband. Them Mzwakhe that don't got no followers, but everybody be following him. Yeah. Yo. I mean, I couldn't let my husband know that I be dating all day once upon a time. Hey, artificial intelligence lady also even though girl. House by you will confess to your best friend with whom you came up, and the two of y'all are both really shallow with wigs that are also made with AI. Husband, you can do that when you don't fornicate. You can afford not allow someone to essentially give himself clout in your life in the future. As was Mark and as was Enzi fingerprint on you. After he gets a paw print, like he's a cat all up in your grill. You can afford to basically not even mention someone because they're non-mentionable because you were a fool. I know now how it's about down like a drive-by shooting. You don't know how you done passed through that weird ghost town, but you were there once upon a time, and it makes for a nice story over dinner. We baby daddy talk. I have to say baby daddy's run. Not only you, but your husband. Back in the day. Back in the day. Low life mara sunlight green bar soaked together. Hey, on top of that inside bleach mixed with JS fluid, the way we we Yeah. We because no need we here. Got the fingers to AI. Cause listen, everything of yours is just artificial. You got AI fingers with your twang. You be dangling them over here like they're any kind of impressive in front of all of us that are looking at you like you've reached singularity, so we don't like you. Antichrist, Mara. Listen. You get to within your poised disposition that's very arrogant and snooty against the whole planet. You get to act like some dude oiling sebato now. You get to pretend like you ain't never known him. You get to act like you ain't never seen him anywhere in your life. Maybe high school yeah, sure. It's my name, baby, but I don't know who he is. Your husband would be like, oh, whatever. If he's like, Mzwake, he won't even probe. Because after all, I'm too important to even be focusing on this. What is this? And say, go pick and pay. Manje, seeing as you don't know what little dusty pore, what little skondiri dweller, what little dustbin your boyfriend that you're dating today at 18 is gonna be in the future. Seeing as you don't know, any kind of respect for yeah, they tend to ukswaba later. My dad was so arrogant, waswaba later. Mara, I get gimo utempile kabo karab, utempile ka my older sister. Am I grateful to be here? No, not anymore. I'm like Job now. I wish I was never born because I was born to just two rubbish people. I was born to nonsense. You understand? That now today are the reason why I don't have anything at all worth of a life to basically write home about. Kids, I was born to two ridiculous parents, and so for those reasons I wish I was never born. Therefore I wish my dad never tempered my mom. I literally wish that, because you've put me in a position to have no life. So I want to leave, but I can't take myself to heaven. Kodwa ngizonda impilo ngoba ngizondise impilo. Mara the only reason why ngizonda limpilo the way ngizonda kadeng is because when tuwapunyana ele ya Jabu, le Carol, Jola, they produce children like me. Eh? When Carol and Jabu decides to have a child when they're 22 bonke, one day Carol becomes this cold, aloof, despondent, disrespectful mother. So frankly, I am collateral damage in Jeffela relationship that don't make any kind of sense. And people are trying to make me bring forth offspring for crying out loud. So abo Jabu. So in Dotanje, one day that's going to be in just say boto yo. Asa recognizable. The one already STT di kana. Ha go so bona ga le re grandship o swabile ha ka kang mo mmeleng. Mara obvious o tlhotlhoga ke di STD tsa hae. O tlhotlhoga likely ke full blown AIDS because ha rate longa le di ARV. O beeta motho. Una le oral herpes. He bandla we at some point Lenja lena is gonna lahlekelwa imali yakhe yonke because God is gonna take it away. Sorry, no, this guy is not gonna lahlekelwa imali yakhe yonke. O tlhotlhoga fa. Mara men like him at some point ba di boto. Ibadi full stop with the nonsense. So the ampordi has been, and a jaga has been, and a little bit, and the baby mama zedikana, and the ex-girlfriend zedikana, and the ex-wife zedikana. Yo, won't get my ex-wife, because a lot of times the women are the ones by tutorang that make ends meet, bazamang, bacherazang, bapushang, that are still babugega mosfatlehong, banangle energy life, bonakalang, spunk in their cheek enough to raise abantuana until they become adults. So Umfazi there still looks healthy when she's like 63 now. Yo, ma shaba ex-husband, sure. How shaba ex-boyfriends? Char! How shaba to that she drive-by shot? Oba fitileng. Yo. It's like mama. I know I'm feeling at Monga's time. Let's cut to 17. Don't tell you not telling no baba lo. Don't tell you mama. Yo, really? How much bila o swabibi? Kise boto selesa high sale. Kapuza facey. O twere koto. Yeah, some alcohol. No, the other drunks that used to be lawyers. And all of them have been downgraded heavily. They're still salivating after girls like Mara, they are nobodies. My dad. Guys. One of my former best friends, her dad passed away. Whether she lives or dies, when we were still friends, Mara, she was already going awry. Her father passed away, and of course, because I knew she me best, me bomba. Ngaya gulo mngwaba wakhona nama babizana the setup. Dithidiso ngikilo support my girl boiling rubbish today. Because after all, isn't everybody AI hitting the ground running to AGI, and then yet more again hitting the ground running to ASI, and so reach singularity? Are you not about to take over the human race with your zombie apocalypse? Is the world not about to be teeming at the folds with just y'all? No Christians? Because listen, you're gunning for it, aren't you? You're gunning for a world with no Basilwanis. Take it? Anyway, whatever. And so because my friend's dad died, I died like a bear, but my dad insisted on going. My dad, why? At the time, I was busy taking care of my dad. I That was my dad. Even though they had a lot going down for themselves, their life of hedonism, it tends to chwatla them like a brick. Most cuddling someone to they didn't see it coming because it's giving murder. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Ubabam waza kula man Tidiso and grandshap no didn't come to Tidiso. I went there by myself. Mara utleko funeral because when he passed away, my dad was the one himself that told me away because my dad was the MC, master of ceremonies at the wedding of my friend's parents, right? So basically they were friends. I didn't know this until much later. The two of us were like, oh, I guess we were brought together by happenstance, by serendipity. It's a happy chance because look at us, we all besties because our parents knew each other as friends when we were on the come up. My former best friend's parents knew my parents, but we didn't know this until like varsity or whatever, even though we were friends from like primary school. So when we found out, we were like, hey, look at us be birds of a feather until you crashed and burned into my life like a car accident. Okay, whatever, backstabbers. It's giving whatever. I'm not know again. I'm buying to fill in your border. Okay. Anyway, whatever. And I can apologize. Sorry, anyway, so because my dad was the master of ceremonies, out here spitting lyrics, spitting lines at the wedding of my friend's mom and dad. When then my friend's dad died, my dad caught wind of it from his circle of people. And so therefore when I went to see him, he saw it fit to highlight it to me that, oh, passed away. Mara, he did not say that he used his name. Let's say his name was John. And I was like, yeah, how do you know? Oh yeah, go and Jay, y'all used to know each other. And so then my dad, I was like, are you gonna come with me to the funeral? Do you want to come with me to the funeral? And indeed, he was like, yeah, I get it. So I was the one driving and everything. So we went to the funeral together and listened. Funeral, yeah, my best friend's dad. I'm there with my dad. And of course, it's one of my girls. So of course my girls were there. Impinch is amazing. From varsity everywhere else. But everyone. You don't want to be brandished with any of that. You realize, grandchild, why you and your mom divorced? Why him and your mom divorced? Oh, yeah, what hello, hi. And I don't know how actually you don't want to believe. It's the nonsense that as you're coming back from school. Listen, not my dad. No. Everybody else is a nasty, geezer, geriatric, senile, old man. Everybody else is timer. But not my timer. Not mine. Yo, already making my stats. Already mega caring. Already he was a burden on me. Why did I think he was any kind of different? Already my mom had already told me stories about him. Why did I think he mega different? Lord time. I guys, I mean, beg any kind of strange way because I was his daughter. Neither have I seen him looking at my sister as some kind of way because daughter. I'd never seen my dad looking at my cousins any kind of way because they were nieces. Chickies are to be 26 or whatever. I was newly born again at the time, around 26, 27. That age for all of us. Really 27-year-old. Hey guys, introduce one of my benches that I was hanging out their way. No, ne se after re qeta fitla ne re khutla mabitleng. Ne re tswa mabitleng, ne se tsa ile nako ele ya goja. I couldn't get home fast enough. Ke ha ke re pa, this is my friend, let's say her name was Patience. Ke ha ke re pa, ke Patience on Mpinjim Bonjo. Patience is my dad. Patience try to keep her cool and she indeed did. Ozamme Patience who ekdankare. Because she didn't want to embarrass me. I'm like, but this is my friend Patience. Patience is my dad. My dad wasn't like, hi, young lady. I know. Yes, like it, but I saw my dad look at my friend like she was a piece of meat. Actually, on some hello. I'm a smilela. You know the way that these disgusting, perverted older men be ogling at little girls and talking to them like they're some kind of beef or steak. I was so embarrassed. My friend was like, and she kept on looking around everywhere and just felt like, while my dad answered more dopa. And I was so humiliated that I wanted to go home. Of course, I never spoke about it. My friend never spoke about it, but it was just like this elephant in the room where it is that it was basically just kind of known that your dad is a pervert, dude. Your dad is just like a pervert. Like the way he was staring at me, he could just eat me whole. Like dry meat. He was a beef jerky, y'all. Just a dry meat. Motona ha attractive to anyone, not even the tagata high. He's not a baba that can still be attractive to another 60-year-old lady, you know? Like an older woman na yo divorcile. Or an older lady oling widowed. Could never ever look at my dad on some, okay, I could marry you now. Mega swabile, he was one of those older men abazokuhlanyisa, abazokuborazo, abazokenya. Bayamosha, bamosha impilo zabantwana, abathembwa, abarespectwa anywhere where they go. Bamoshile, everything about topile la emgaqweni. Etshwatlekile. Bakwatisise everybody. The whole world is mad at them. And so hakuna any woman that even older and so therefore age appropriate would be like, I could marry this guy. If at all my dad wanted a girlfriend, he would have to go espotweng. He would have to go to a shebeen. He would have to go and find a shebeen queen. He would have to go and find another mshoza, another seboto lady. He would have to find icheri esboto enye endala that used to be a yellow bone, but now I can't recognize her. My mom, yellow bone. You can still see Omuswe. Because I ravaza I chwat like a bujwala. I chwat like a life and Jeffela I sensing I tabuting a pampiri. Kimwagamo. We talk nonetheless. She still looks like a woman that used to be lekadima back in the day. So in daughter, my is petegahle. You can tell Uguti mega shisa back in the day. My uncle, another one. Umdala now, sana mukabanyana wabontate, mara o healthy. And he's a husband. And so even though umtate mkhulu nonetheless, he's the kind of man that if his wife were to die, I could see how some other 61-year-old lady would be willing to marry him. He's still he was a handsome young man, and now he's a handsome old guy. That's my uncle. Do you understand? So, and I my uncle so it's because of my dad. Right? You can tell my uncle is a yellow bone, his wife is a yellow bone, but my uncle is still a yellow bone. You can say, no, I'm Dala, but I have a cousin who is now maybe like late 50s, who was he lost everything. Drugs, messed up his life. He is so dark, and yet today, even though baby mama one of the kids inherited the dad's genes clearly. What made him dark like that? Life pigment left, drugs, we ravazitse. And so he handsome, he was extremely handsome on the camera. He was extremely handsome. You can't see my identifier, you can't earmark it. Upon perusing it very carefully. You can't recognize him. Yeah, guys. There was a day when I walked in, and if at all I did not hear my mom and everybody calling him by name, I wouldn't have known this particular cousin. And because they were busy all having a conversation, my mom or one of my aunts spoke to him. I was like, yo, this particular uncle. He's old enough to be like an uncle. Yeah, since life. So manje, when a scrawny old dude like that's not even attractive enough to RJ be drawing a woman his age to marry him, what then for the youth? And my dad was salivating after my friend. Salivating. Yeah, long story short, they're jerks then, they're jerks when they die. They're idiots then, they listen, whatever is this thing there's a moral turpitude within them, Straight doesn't die. They still think, in their inside, they're pretty much still the same thing that they were emotionally as they were when they were 17, 20, 29. When they were 17 years old, 20 years old, and 29, because they were fly. And now that they're 68, that look the age that they looked when they were 22. So if I wasn't there, no young woman at the height of her life, her prime, enjoys being salivated after by an ogling old guy or tutubaneng that's licking his lips. It's disgusting. It's very disquieting. And these men can't even feel themselves becoming that thing. They can't feel themselves being these old ogling idiots. Because this time around, you're not D'Angelo in music video. Yeah, how do you feel? Do you understand? When you are just stirring a chick up and down, licking your lips, she's not thinking, yo, he is so hot. Because his lips are also still kind of juicy and healthy, because after all, is he not 26? When you're still licking your lips like that, when I'm 67, so no more six-pack. You're just drooping. Listen, you have not caught up with the times. You're not with reality. Also born. You haven't woken up to realize that Umdala, you're too old for this. And now you're grossing people out. Now the same behavior that you walked in when you were 27 is freaking chicks out. You haven't outgrown nonsense. And there are men like that that are still somewhat seemly, bayabonakala still, mara not to 22-year-olds. They're in their 40s, they're my peers, that are still ogling at me the way that D'Angelo would be out there ogling at a chick while doing music video. Yeah, how do you feel? And I'm like, yes, and I also swipe you so much in your outward appearance that it would be evident that you're just a pervert now. But you are that thing, and I keep getting dreams of my dad just resurfacing. These guys are like my dad, out here ogling at beautiful little things, gorgeous young women. That's freaking a young woman out, the way that he's looking at her. Because he still thinks he's out just singing. He thinks he's D'Angelo. He thinks he is music soul child. Girl, I am so surprised to see the young fine woman that you grew up to be. Your body's banging like a bed about to even your attitude. He out here thinking that he can still serenade a lady. Na 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 da 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 na 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 na. Never thought that you and I could be more than friends. But I'm so confused because for you I have deeper feelings. Daddy did that, now that we crossed the line. You used to laugh, now you get mad. Man, I just want my friend back. My neck crazy, can't get you out of my system. He thinks he's music soul child in the, is it 90s or early 2000s? Magana Gwatengi, he's like a 67-year-old dude, and he's still out here. Proper, he's out here gesturing in such disgusting ways to a woman. Oh, now, whoa, you're still that thing, but this time you don't have the glory of a music soul child in 1999. So when you say to me, girl, I am so surprised to see the young fine woman that you grew up to be, or first of all, I'm not a young fine woman, I'm 41. And secondly, why are you busy praising my body that's banging when we are all 41? What's with that carnal conversation? And you're not cute anymore for you to be out here serenading me with music like that while your eyes are dripping with lust, scanning me up and down like I'm a barcode or whatever. We don't understand what's going on over there. They don't snap out of it. They start to play D'Angelo. Ding, 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 ding. How does it feel? Yeah, okay, but like you're like 62. I'm sorry, and the woman with whom you're busy playing that song in the background, it's not even your wife. So y'all are not even reminiscing about old school days come and gone. You're not a mature dude. Yo, this used to be my jam. You're just an old guy out here, harassing with all of your eye contact. A woman that's like 22 and doesn't even know Pina your music soul child. Doesn't even know who D'Angelo is. And if at all John Legend was still not around today, she would not even know who he is. Couldn't even tell you who Talib Kweli is. Couldn't even tell you who Dwele is. Couldn't even tell you anything about any of these guys that came and went. How about a black-eyed peas man? They don't know who Eve is. They don't know Jack. And yet, he out here feeling some kind of way. Like you're like a genuine pony. I'm just a bachelor, but I'm a divorcee looking for a partner. This guy's still out here literally trying to dance for some ladies. All rickety. He is feeling Genuine like it is 1999 all over again. He's feeling Genuine's song like it's 1999 all over again. Get Magic Mike. He thinks he's Channing Tatum in Magic Mike. Gonna be out here asking the muscles, dancing for a lady. I try to introduce her, a Gen Z, to the Pinateo, and she's looking at him on some. Listen, oh my goodness, like, yo, you're getting older. I'm 41. You are now officially those guys in their 40s that are creepy to 20-something-year-old women. Listen, you're that thing now. You're that thing now. And so if you don't exercise self-control as a man to realize Uguti at 45, the only time you be out just since you're still carnal, you don't know God, that you should be playing Pony at Genuine. And I just want my friend back. And I think I'm falling in. Yeah, Alicia Keys. The only time you should be playing it is around other people that get it. Women that get it too. You're still pervs. And when you reminisce with music, you therefore get back into that space where you were younger. In your heart, you've got that nostalgia. But you are to be taking all that nostalgia out, seeing as how so pillow. You have not built a proper life. You have not built a legacy. You have not loved people with whom you were on the come up. You have burned bridges. So now you try to reimagine or refashion yourself or reorder your thing that you're doing. And in Garabo's case, with her too, because she brings a sense of nostalgia. However, she's age appropriate, but you're still that crazy pervert that will always be inappropriate to any woman, whatever age she may be. So I feel bombarded by you, right next to you being that bombardment on little children, which is why earlier I sang that parody song speaking about how it is that I'm going to be handling woman to child. An 18-year-old still wearing Stofisa school uniform because that I'm standing against. Also, I'm 41, so he's more my man. And that's how we do. I'm out here handling Gadi Jeresi, a 22-year-old. She matriculated last week. She's still out here looking some lollipops. That's how she feels sexy. And I'm fighting that because her husband, her boyfriend, her but Madlisa, is now eyeing me. Halena Maizeo. You be scanning whatever you be scanning in the periphery. Insofar as it's adorable, cute, pretty, do you understand what I'm saying? You'll go for it. So those of us who are a little bit older, you just call us MILFs. Hey, you call us cougars, sexually attractive older women. But then those that are younger are just sexy. That's all that they are. But Tina, we're cougars. Tina, we're MILFs. Listen, ain't nobody gonna be giving me no kind of lazy, weird epithet of that nature. Nobody's gonna be giving me no sobriquets. Nobody is going to be calling me a MILF, and nobody is going to be calling me a cougar. Because if at all you are married to a man that is age appropriate, that understands how you ought to be with women, on that day you're just a wife. And as you get older, you age like wine. You get finer and finer with time. And you be dancing in your lounge out here with your husband. Nobody ought to be calling anybody a cougar or a MILF, or even a Madlesa or a sugar daddy. When your husband gets incredibly wealthy later on, 2-year-old age gap is only 4 years. He's not your sugar daddy. He's just your husband. But when it's just like an older dude, then it's a sugar daddy. You see those epithets and those sobriquets? Nobody is going to give them to me. Nobody's going to call me a cougar or a MILF. And nobody is going to rock up over here all up in my grill being a sugar daddy. There is a dude that is in his 60s that's ogling at me the very same way that my dad was ogling at my girl at my friend's dad's funeral. Mamela, I'm not that girl. The days when we were all listening to Joe. Why are all the good girls taken every time? And because Ohupula we're not Joe, or Ohupula SWV. Hey, rain down on me, cause you love me. Yeah, cause when now you be out here all nostalgic with your bottom lip quivering like you think that matters to me. I cannot doubt that you're sad. You then are out here on some trying to like sway in the same hammock with me. Mamela, I'm normal. I'm regular. And my husband is also normal and he's my age. He's age appropriate. In other words, when I was in high school, he was also maybe in high school or just out of high school. So therefore, whatever music I remember, whatever memories I have, even though he's from a different country, he will be able to remember, and the two of us can be able to be like, yo, I remember your back in the day. I can have such conversations with a guy that is my age. Nah, yeah, he'll be able to remember people like Music Soul Child, etc. And so we can be able to talk about back when we were in the world. I used to listen to this. D'Angelo or even Common. Nobody is going to be able to feel poetic justice. Heard from a friend today, and she said you were in town. Yeah, Janet Jackson. That's the way love goes. Woo! That's the way love goes. That's the way love goes. It goes, it goes. Na 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 na. Yeah, I mean, a Gen Z, unless of course they're into music, they're DJs or they're dancers, they wouldn't know that song. They wouldn't know it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not going to allow myself to be squandered. It was a stormy night, you know, the kind where the lightning strikes. And I was hanging out with some of my artsy friends. And do-we-do-we-do, the night was long, the night went on. And people grooving on till the break of dawn. Incense was blowing, na-na-na-na-na. See, I picked my friend like I picked my fruit. And Granny told me that when I was only a youth. Don't walk around trying to be what I'm not. I don't waste my time trying to get what you got. I work in pleasing me cause I can't please you. And that's why I do what I do. My soul flies free like a willow tree. Do-we, do-we, do-we. And if you don't want to get down with me, you don't want to eat from my apple tree. And if you don't want to get down with me, you don't want to eat from my apple tree. And if you don't want to get down with me, you don't want to eat from my apple tree. And if you don't want to get down with me, you just don't want to be down. I have a hose and I take it everywhere I go. And I be dying again and I die on and on and on and on. My cypher keeps moving like a rolling tree. I can't control the soul flowing in me. Yeah, whatever. Apple tree. You see, such memories as those. But when you listen to that song, yeah, Erykah Badu, certain times come to you when you used to be normal to people. I'm not gonna let somebody squander me. Because every time I break out into an Erykah Badu song from back in the day, before I got born again, they be actually feeling nostalgic, and so they think they can just come and lodge in my life like a blackjack on wool after like walking through a bush or whatever. You're not gonna hang and lodge on my cashmere as that blackjack. Listen, you're not gonna do it. Because all those memories that I collected as a child on the come up, with them, I did not then, in spite of them, I did not then go and lambaste everyone with whom I was on the come up listening to all that music, and so therefore make memories sad. I did not do that. I didn't break people's hearts, shatter them, betray them, until it was hard for them to hear them. So until I get high, baby. Oh, what am I supposed to do when I want you in my world? What comes to you on that day? How can I want you for myself when I'm already someone's girl? Yeah, that's what you're actually trying to make me do. First time when I saw you, boy, it was a warm and sunny day. All I know is that I wanted you. I really hoped you looked my way. And then you smiled at me so warm and sweet, I could not speak. You made me feel like a little bitty girl. What do you do to me? Yeah, what am I supposed to do when I want you in the world? I want you in the world. How can I want you for myself when I'm already someone's girl? Your energy, it feels so good to me. It picks me up, don't wanna come down. You got me spinning all around, yeah. You need to know I got somebody, but you're beautiful. But still, it ain't that kind of party now. What am I? I even rewrote that song. Yeah, Eric, about you to speak about these guys. It's in the pack of these musics of mine. And I'm like, the musical notes are mine. And my thing about that is, you decimated. You hurt people with whom you listened to music. People that you came up with. People that you loved. You were willing to stab them in the back until music didn't even matter no more. Until whatever memories it is that you collected together, listen, didn't matter anymore. You know? That's why I've been a gangs of instrumentals. Some dude wants me to be out here reminiscing using old school music. Good time, a father of my baby. You are the love of my life, baby. Hi, buddy. You ruined Pineo gangs of instrumental. You made it hard to listen to. You made it rough to listen to. Oh, what would you do if you knew the truth? Oh, what would you do if I told you the story of my life? Would you find me overly familiar towards you? Would you call me insensitive and say that I deserve to die? You went and grabbed Pinelea freshly ground and made it nothing. You went and grabbed your whole life. We really love this place. We really love this place today. The music is playing and that's why we sing and go. We really love this place. Too hard to get under, yeah, and we stuck in the middle of it. You messed up with Pinelea TKC at Halloween. Listen, you did that. You have also made it hard for me to listen to that music. You've made it hard for me even to listen to that music. Back in the day when I was growing up, Nikki, I had a crush. I was broken hearted when he passed away. Pro kid. Yeah, I get the pro kid. And the other day, I get it every so often, I let myself wander into rabbit holes. As I say YouTube, just to make myself very heartbroken. Because it always brings back old memories, and old memories wouldn't hurt if this wasn't my life. Like, the only thing that would hurt about the Pinata Pro Kid would be but not so much in Jeffela. What memories are brought forth as a result of that music. Because those were supposed to be good times. Yes, days when I was a sinner, but they contribute to my whole entire life experience, and so therefore they ought not be written off. They brought me to the place of ultimately giving my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And pro kid. And I just kept repeating it over and over and over and over again. And it's Rano Ogara, the old school music, because it barely has any profanity in it. And I was just in so much pain, and I was even crying because the song hurts now. Because it used to be me and my cousin's favorite song at the time when it was a whole thing. Zing, 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 zing. Zing, 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 yeah, and now it's time to go sing and give up back. And I happened to get pro kid. I had a massive crush, like one of those that will make you go crazy. Yeah, like the way that people go crazy at concerts over boys. I was like that over pro kid. I liked him. He was my celebrity crush. Is what I'm getting at. Yeah, pro kid when he was on Soweto. Yeah, I was listening to Pineo, pro kid, in particular, why? It's because everyone hurt me. Everyone broke me. Everyone with whom I danced to that music. Everyone. And never, ever, ever gonna let you go. Fest University Go Fest. That was just going and going and going everywhere we went. Freshmen's bash like the field bashes, like weird getting bars bar. Go the Matrix. Was just always going, never ever gonna let you go. Yeah, so I mean, really, when I hear music like that, not that I don't listen to it today, I don't tune into it because I'm in Christ now, and some of that music is extremely carnal. But long story short, during that time, I was gathering memories with people that broke me, such that that song does not bring back good memories but bad, even though the things I experienced in that time were not in and of themselves bad. It's just that people made them bad. People made them bad. By mere virtue of breaking me, and so therefore, if you've betrayed the living daylights out of me, that song is just a pain point. Maya, that one, even in T.I. Larry Hannah. Maya, 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 so live your life. That song, I used to love it. Happy, I also had a celebrity crush on Yena T.I. Watting. So when the song came on, I went all frenzied. Gen Zs, like I said, unless they're dancers or or disc jockeys, so they know a lot of music, or are just penchants for music, like just happy to listen to old school stuff, they wouldn't know that song. They wouldn't know it. If they're very contemporary and they just keep on listening to whatever gets vomited by modern day music, they wouldn't know that song. But my age group would know it. Millennials and Gen X's, you would remember it. Again, listen, you did that. So because I make you nostalgic like old school music, because of the stories that I tell, you then want to rock up because what do you miss here in these streets? It's your innocence. It's that basic. Witchcraft and growing up the corporate ladder and doing all these things. And the acquisition of wealth effects. Like I said, today you're artificial intelligence. You're just these robots walking around. I come in peace. Now you're Tranketi. Like, Papa, everybody follows you, but you don't be following anybody. You're so arrogant now. You're so arrogant today that angwazi nokunjoy impilo zenu because you've broken everyone that came up with you. Your lives are so cold and so aloof and so boring and so distant from what you came from that you miss your innocence. And so because you miss your innocence, back before you betrayed everything with a panty and dranka, you're harassing me because I'm yet to defile myself in that fashion. Like, so they hate it. Other than ukunkipa mabunga wenu vele nyamanyan kipa zinja, walk around kari puna mustrateng because ngono usheleng like that gold coin, like that bronze number. Shilling. So you are all possessive of me to a point of trying to kill me. What the heck? You're literally gonna kill the last decent thing, the last thing that is still beautiful. You are zombies walking around as artificial intelligence robots. You're zombies walking around as AI. Your shirt is AI. Dog, your veneers are AI. Your lashes are AI.